Hi, AT from CNC at Home. I did a video a month or so ago, I'll put the link up here, where I created this cheap paper template. I have a project now that I can use the new template. I have these coasters, Slate, and I want to make a gift for a friend of mine's daughter who's getting married. I want to turn these coasters into place markers for the head table. So where all the groomsmen and the bridesmaid and the bride and groom will be sitting. I'm going to do two special ones for the bride and groom that'll look different. And then for each one of the people in the wedding party, there'll be a coaster that'll have their name on it, the actual person's name, but at the top it'll have Gwen and Justin's name, and it'll have the date of the wedding. So it'll be kind of a keepsake from the wedding, and it can be used as a place marker at the head table where they're supposed to sit. Let's go ahead and go into Lightburn, take a look at what needs to be done for that. For using the template, I'm going to use the Lightburn feature print and cut, and I'm going to use the variable text, is what it's called, which we've covered before. I'll put a link up here for variable text as well. We've done a video on that. Let's go ahead and head to Lightburn and see how that works. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I have a dozen custom coasters that I want to make. Each one is going to have a different name on it, and I'm going to start with a template. We've seen this kind of thing before. Let me just bring the template up real quickly. Here's the template that I want to use. The bride and groom are Gwendolyn and Justin, and this is where the name's going to be. So we have our variables %0 and %1. So that's going to take the first and second values from a comma delimited file. If we come over to our variable text and read that in, we can see how that's going to work. Let me just open that file. With the file open, we're at current record 0. This is a 0-based file, so the first record has an index of 0. If we click test, we can see this is going to be MMA Barrett. What I want to do is do several of these at one time. I don't want to sit here and do one coaster and then put in a new blank, do another coaster. I want to put a bunch on there. What I'm going to use is the paper template that I created a few videos back, and this will allow me to do 6 coasters at a time. And let's see how that gets set up. So let's go ahead and close this and open up our template. So here we have our coaster template, and I have notes enabled, so when this comes up I know how big this is. So it gives me some dimensions on my working space, or how big the template is. It's based off of 110 millimeter squares, and there's 3 by 20 of these. So you can see these blue L's. There's 3 of them across, 2 high, and there's 20 millimeter spacing between them. So from the corner out to the end is 110 millimeters, and then there's 20 millimeter spacing, and then that repeats. This information will come in handy when we make a grid of our coasters. So we can go ahead and just click OK for this reminder. Then I want to bring in one of my coaster templates. Alright, so we'll import that, and I want to move its location, its lower left hand corner, down to 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters. If we zoom in on that, we can see that that puts it right down here in the corner for our first template location. The next thing I want to do is grid these out. So let's go ahead and zoom back out a little bit. And what I want to do is select this coaster. Now I also happen to get this little registration mark, so I'm going to do a control select, so it's not selecting that. I just want the coaster template. Then over in our grid, then I can say that I want to have 3 by 2. And it looks like the spacing is already set up. The spacing is actually 30 millimeters. I know that when we opened this up, my notes said 20, and that's 20 based on a 110 millimeter coaster. These particular coasters, if we look at them, if we just grab this piece, we can see that our height and width is 100 millimeters. The slate coasters are smaller than the ceramic coasters, so I'm using a 100 millimeter square as my template. So I need to go an extra 10 millimeters to get to the end of my paper template, and then 20 millimeters over. So that extra 10 plus the 20, that's why we have 30 millimeter spacing. If we come in here, we'll go ahead and do our browse, and we'll open up our guest list. If we do a test, we'll see that each one has a different name. And I can turn on my auto advance, so when it does these 6, my current value will also increment by the amount that's on here, and then get the other 6. When using the variable text feature and doing multiple parts at one time, we do need to tell Lightburn how many we're doing. So in this case, I say advance by 6. After I started the project, it advanced from 0 to 6, so that it'll pick up with the next chunk of the burn. If we do a preview, we can see that it's already set to go. What I need to do is align my template using these 2 registration marks. I need to get that aligned with the laser. To do that, we want to make sure we're using absolute coordinates, and I want to use the cut and print, or the print and cut feature within Lightburn. Before I can select anything, I need to get my laser moved to where this location is. So I can go ahead and select that. Doesn't really need to be now. Let's head over to the laser and take a look at positioning the laser head. I'll do that using the move feature. I already have the laser focused for the slate tiles. Let's go ahead and get the protective shield moved up out of the way so we can actually see the laser dot. Now the laser dot's not going to be nice and sharp because I'm focused up a little higher than the template. I will be able to get a good location with that though. Okay, and we'll move over to the right or the left a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. It might be a little high. And I'm moving a 0.5 millimeter at a time, and I'm thinking a 0.5 millimeter move is going to be too much. Yeah, that was too much. So let's just change this to 0.1 millimeter movement, and then move back up. That looks really good. So I have the laser on this point on my template. I have this registration mark selected. Now I can come up to the print and cut and say this is my first target position. Then we'll move to this second target position and do the same thing. Okay, then move to the right just a little bit. That looks good, so we'll go ahead and select the registration mark, come up to Laser Tools, Print and Cut, and set second target position. Because this is all set up to scale, I can go ahead and tell the Print and Cut feature to align my output to those targets without any scaling. Now we're ready to burn. If we take a look at the laser, I should be able to do a frame, and it should encompass the area that we want to do our burning. That looks good. So let's go ahead and get some tiles on there and make sure everything is still aligned and we can start the burn. With the tiles in place, let's go ahead and do another frame to make sure that all looks good. That does look good. I'm going to go ahead and get the exhaust fan going and we'll start the burn. Before I start the burn, I do want to make sure that my parameters are set correctly. I did check my fill for black slate and it is 5,000 at 50, and that's what we're set to, so we can go ahead and start the burn. One of the nice features of using the light burn print and cut is once we have this set, as long as we have this project open, the print and cut parameters are stored in there. When it comes time to burn this second batch of tiles, all we have to do is to put a new set of tiles in. It's already incremented to the next batch. Once those new tiles are in place, we can go ahead and just click start. Those coasters / place markers turned out really nicely. The print and cut feature, the cheapo paper template for setting down on the laser works really well. I was able to hold this down with magnets. That held it in place. I was able to do 6 at a time, then put another 6 tiles in place, automatically increment the variable text, print the next 6 or burn the next 6. That worked fantastic. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing. That really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects. Oops.